Hello, ladies and gents. Hagbard Celine here, and if you're here, I'm assuming you linked over from my main page, so you know why you're here. You're here for the sinking of the Pacific Ocean liner. Sorry for the quality of this video if it's lacking, but I'm having some technical difficulties with my main rig, so once again we are on Potato Laptop. Hi, Potato Laptop. The original video I was going to do was marijuana, is it harmful? You see, in this video, he goes on to explain why marijuana is evil.
Hello everybody, it is me, Pacific.
As usual, hi Pacific, how are you doing?
Oh man, dude. Yeah, I like playing with brushes.
Yeah, but the stoners are the weird ones, right?
It is time for me to give some facts.
No, you're not going to give anyone any facts. What you're going to do is give wildly misstated opinions.
Some of you might be bored with this, some of you may be entertained, and others might actually gain something from this.
Most people would be bored. I'm entertained because I like watching weirdos, and anyone who gains anything from this is being wildly misinformed.
People have tried to tell me. People have tried to tell me
That's right, let the brain restart there.
that there are no long-term effects from the use of marijuana.
Yeah, that's because they're completely misinformed too. There are some long-term effects. You see, there's some respiratory malfunction that comes with breathing smoke, all those standard things, but everything else is inflammatory.
I live, as everybody knows, in Pot, Colorado.
It's just called Colorado.
Colorado passed medicinal use as well as recreational use. We have pot stores springing up everywhere. Right by my workplace, I can smell it.
That must be horribly oppressive for you, Pacific. I can't imagine how you get through your days.
At one of the dispensaries, it's everywhere. Pot use among teenagers has soared since that has happened.
That's not what every major official source is producing, but okay.
The Denver Police Department, it has been reported to me
But only to you.
that the cops said that we are having more problems now that they legalized it than before.
That doesn't even begin to make sense.
Criminal behavior involving this stuff. Parents are using it. The teens are using it.
Cats are using it, dogs are using it, the Jews are using it, Pacific, you'll never know.
And I'm reading article after article online tonight, simply typing in, is marijuana harmful? The answer is yes.
Yeah, but not to the degree you're about to paint it.
But what really shocked me is the article I'm going to read. That the pro-pot advocates that say that there are no long-term effects, that it is not a gateway drug. They're not informed as much as they think they are.
No, Pacific, you're the one who is not informed as you think you are. But go on, and I'm sure you're going to prove that point real strong right here.
Let's cut to the chase and not beat around the bush. Pot is a multi-billion-dollar industry.
So is every other major narcotic on the market. What's your point?
Where it is legalized.
Even where they're illegalized, hence the already existent market, Pacific.
The state coffers in Colorado are
Answer your phone, mate.
profiting from this in a huge, huge way.
You know it has a mute button, right?
They have initiated ballot measures saying we want to use this to fund the school district. We want to use this to fund that.
God forbid.
I have said on a ballot issue just in our precinct here 2 years ago, they wanted to vote to allocate the funds coming from marijuana usage, sales, to fund the school district and improve buildings and education. And I thought to myself,
What a terrible idea to invest in our children's future. Why would we ever do that?
how ironic. I grew up in an era where we taught kids to say no to drugs.
Which worked swimmingly, hence the fact that drug usage completely declined during the preceding 2 generations. Oh, wait.
And Now we're going to turn around and use the money from the sale of drugs to fund education.
Let's just burn it instead.
Go figure. Let me read you the following article.
I'm sure this is going to be really juicy.
And I will also give you the link.
That was your first mistake. If you're going to cite shitty sources, you probably shouldn't leave the citations in the bottom, in spite of what your instincts are.
As I copy and paste this and put it in the video.
Your whole existence is a copy and paste.
This is by the site, Foundation for a Drug-Free World. Find out the truth about drugs.
Well, that sounds reputable.
In this article, the truth about marijuana. The harmful effects of marijuana. And this is what it says. The immediate effects of taking marijuana include rapid heartbeat, disorientation, lack of physical coordination, often followed by depression or sleepiness.
That's the same that could be said about 2 or 3 cups of coffee.
Some users suffer panic attacks or anxiety. I do find that interesting.
I find it interesting how you say you find everything interesting.
Because I've met pot users where I've seen the anxiety, the panic attacks, a sense of paranoia. I've definitely seen that.
And I've seen that from non-pot users. Most pot users I know are pretty chill. It's usually just those first-time users that get all buggy.
Play out. But the problem does not end there. According to scientific studies, the active ingredient in cannabis, THC, remains in the body for weeks or longer.
It remains detectable in the body through fat cells. Is this a scientific source? Wait a second. We have to stop here, and I'm just going to go ahead and show his source. Let me see. Foundation for a Drug-Free World. Find out the truth about drugs. This all looks, well, official, right? It looks pretty good. It's got no citations, but, you know, hey, I mean, not everyone can be a scientist. But then you look at their Wikipedia information, you see the Foundation for a Drug-Free World is an anti-drug organization established in 2006 by the Church of Scientology. Pacific, you are pushing the Church of Scientology as truth. I don't even think you know that. I think you're just one of these dumb, useful idiot suckers that got pulled into it simply by trying to find a source for something you don't like and damning it. But I'm just going to let that slide, and that's about where I decided to not make this video, and instead to move on to actually the first time I found Pacific, where he was trying to limit freedoms. That appears to be a thing that Pacific likes to do a lot. So here we go with Your Freedom, My Chains.
Good morning, everybody. It is me, Pacific. Water. I'm going to be brief this morning.
You're never brief, don't bullshit.
I've been wanting to talk about this for a long time. Actually, for years.
Well, then I'm sure it's bound to be completely awesome, right?
Your freedom, my chains.
Well, that's a frightening statement in itself, but I'm sure you'll elaborate it in a way that doesn't make it seem as though you're trying to limit other people's rights to make you feel better.
Your freedom, someone else's stress.
Not doing good so far.
Your choice. It causes others anxiety, stress, anger, rage.
So I'm responsible for all of the reactions that people have to things? That's what you're gonna do? Did you convert to Islam?
Your hobby, your fixation, your interest, your love that becomes a burden, a stress, a problem.
I am sure that you're completely familiar with your love becoming a burden, a stress, and a problem to people. I have a feeling that's why you've got 3 ex-wives, but that's just me.
Everybody around you. I'll tell your story.
I would prefer you tell me stories when you're not eating, but for some reason you have a fixation with eating on camera. The Koreans appreciate that. Americans really don't.
About a guy I worked with at the bus company in Duluth years ago.
Already we're into a ripping tale.
He seemed like a nice guy, he and his wife. And one day my landlord was talking to me. He says, "Do you know so-and-so? Because I know you work for a bus company." I said, "Yeah, he's a nice guy." And he looked at me and went, "No."
That's good. It's always good to take the judgment calls of landlords.
He said, "I rented 2 apartments to him." He said, "I had to remodel one building, so I moved him out and moved him into another." He said, "I didn't want cats, but I let him have a cat because he said the cat was so good."
Well, this is exhilarating so far.
He said his wife was literally fixated with the cat.
Oh, now we've gotten around to it. It's going to become about women, isn't it?
The wife wanted the blinds shut, but the cat wanted to sit in the window. So she had her husband cut out the outline of the cat out of the Venetian blinds, ruining the blinds so that the cat could sit.
Well, you're going to say that it's kind of the woman's fault, where I'm going to say that the asshat husband that cut his blinds up is at fault.
He said, I confronted him on that and said, "What are you doing?" He said he would replace the blinds. He never did it. He moved into the next place. He says, "I'm driving by in my truck and I look up in the window and there's this cutout of a cat."
I'm absolutely certain you're getting to the portion of this program where you actually make some sense out of the story, right?
I can't even begin to tell you the number of people that have contacted me. I can't even begin to tell you about my own personal story of having my mother had 4 cats, 3 dogs, 2 goats.
So, you mean to tell me you might have some mommy issues?
She wanted them. Not me.
Well, we do know it's all about the happiness of Pacific no matter what.
I cleaned up the poop. I cleaned up the mess. I watched 4 cats scratch at the couch, tear up stuff. My dad would get enraged, roll up a newspaper, hit him on the nose, kick him in the butt, throw him out the door.
This window on your life explains so much, Pacific.
My mother would get upset. And I noticed that women have a tendency.
And we've hit the women mark. It's only 3 minutes in and already Pacific is slamming women in general. He just can't help it. Might be those mommy issues.
To cling to their little addiction, their little hobby, their little thing. And it doesn't matter what other people say or how other people feel.
Well, luckily you're not like that about anything like this YouTube channel or anything.
My parents smoked in the car. One.
So did everyone's parents, especially of the generation you're talking about.
Cigarette right after another. My mom knew I had allergies to food. Nevertheless, they continued.
I'm not sure how your allergies to food relate to them supposedly smoking in the car, but I'm sure in your head that made sense.
When I would work up enough nerve to say, "Could you please crack the window and get that smoke out?" "Oh, you're so intolerant." Put the guilt on me for even asking. I've had people write me and contact me. I've had people tell me. I've had over the years people say, "My boyfriend's dog is annoying."
What we were talking about cigarette smoking and your parents like not 2 seconds ago. I'm not even sure how we wound up here, Pacific. I really can't follow you sometimes. It is an act of mental gymnastics that I perhaps
Here's
should have
everything.
stretched
There's
for.
a woman in Canada, the one that does the hair.
Well, that's descriptive. The one that does the hair.
Black woman, I haven't seen her in a while. She had a boyfriend. She did not like the dog. The dog chewed on stuff. The dog slobbered on her. But because of his love for her, got rid of the dog.
Well, that's because women control the breeding rights, Pacific, and if you want to get laid, you're going to get rid of the dog.
I know people that pay outrageous vet bills for their pets.
Well, isn't that inhumane?
Hundreds of dollars, $1,000.
Outrageous! I mean, that's not big money outside the Ozarks, but go on.
vet bills because they don't want their precious pet to die. $1,200.
Go ahead, let your braid reset. We'll take a minute.
I can't even begin to tell you the stories of Beth in Hong Kong, and her employers paid more for 2 dogs monthly maintenance than they paid her in salary to bust her butt for
Welcome to the millionaire class, asshole. That's pretty much how they treat all of us.
their selfish lifestyle.
For the record, Mark Twain had a $200 cat bed in the time when it took about 50 cents to make one. I'm just saying that rich people have always loved their cats. I don't know why. Take that up between rich people and their animals.
I have a relative
Again, you're gonna eat and drink on camera. It's super awesome.
who pushed away a family member of mine who was in his 70s.
Well, you have a relative that pushed away another relative, so at least we're not being vague or anything.
Because she would put the TV so loud in his own house. He had his own bedroom down the hall. He would ask her to turn it down. Oh, but I can't hear it. I lived there for a brief time. The TV volume, if you look at the volume, the bars, was all the way to the right, full blast. I knocked on her door and said, hey, I pay rent. I don't want to hear that. I got a justification. And at the end of the day, basically, women are going to say, I'm going to do whatever I want. To hell with you.
So let me get this straight. You were living with elderly relatives, and down the hall, the elderly relative, who happened to be a female, was going deaf. And instead of accepting the fact that they were going deaf, you attacked them on their volume. That's interesting, Pacific. It's very Christian of you.
I talked to her husband about it. My relative, my direct relative. I don't agree with it either, but I don't want to rock the boat and make her mad. Why do men in this country and women cater to self-centered women? They gotta have their doggy fix. They gotta have their TV fix. Gotta have their cigarette fix. Let's go a step further.
I can only imagine what a step further is, but I do think it's interesting that you support people that gotta have their Pacific fix in your last video, but go on. Manchi, 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 manchi.
I know women, plural, that gotta have gardens, cooking, and hold everybody hostage for it. Women that are in their 80s that can't do it all anymore, but they harass and harangue their husband to go get the fertilizer, to lay it down, to cut this, to do this.
Wow, you're actively demonizing the elderly attempting to take control of their lives. I've never met someone who was willing to just do that publicly. That's special, Pacific. You're saying other people are self-centered and you're not willing to help the elderly.
I told one lady years ago, your hobby has become everybody else's stress. Do you think from a Christian perspective that that's right?
Do you think from a Christian's perspective that cutting down your elders is right? Manji, 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 manji.
That's not my hobby. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Pacific has spoke it, so it is so.
I've watched this woman have panic attacks, freak out, buy too many plants, insist they gotta be planted right this second. Stress is generated, stress is created because she can't do it.
You know, I really hope that you actually stay on YouTube. And I will follow you. And I will follow you into the abyss of elderliness while you... Oh wait, you already ramble on like a dementia patient. What am I talking about?
Go live in a retirement center. Mostly women. Senior citizens can't hear the TV, got it full blast, it blasts down the hall. Other senior citizen who's got good hearing tries to get her to turn it down. The person won't wear headphones, and it's a fight.
You have such compassion. It really is amazing to watch you unfurl your compassion and show these people how much you care. What the fuck is wrong with you? You're criticizing people in elderly homes now? Way to punch up, asshole.
One of the things that has angered me most about America is that people think in the name of freedom, I can do whatever I want, and if you don't like it, too bad.
That's the very definition of freedom, Pacific. I understand you don't get that, and I understand that you think your feelings are more important than what I do, but I make a show about you for a reason.
The guilt trips and the manipulation that people have put on me when I've gone to females with their dog tied up on the front porch, dog tied up in the yard, bark, 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 bark. Or they'll leave it in the garage of a townhome facing our condo all day.
Kind of like you in this channel.
Women don't realize that nice garage acts as a bass box, amplifying it. I talked to the homeowners association in one place. They said it drives us nuts and we can't get anything done. She leaves for work all day and late into the night. I mean the staccato barking all night.
Ooh, we've all had shitty neighbors with shitty dogs. Pacific, you're not special, and it's not special that she was a woman. I've known men with shitty loud dogs. You're not making a point. You're just ranting.
Immaturity. Women allowing, catering to dogs, crapping, peeing, cats ripping, clawing up furniture.
Just because you have mommy issues and your mother let these things happen doesn't mean most people or most women let this happen, Pacific. You're projecting a bit here, love.
I'm being very, very, very tolerating of that. But then when their loved one does something, like breaks a dish of china on accident, the berating and the yelling.
Can I assume that once upon a time when Pacific was a young boy, he broke his mother's china and she lost his shit? That feels like a fair presumption.
I did a video called Pet Obsession.
Yeah, that was your shortest video. I almost did it. I honestly almost did it just to get an out for today. I literally looked at it and went, God, there's not enough material here. It's only 6 minutes. Why can't you do like 15-minute videos so I can get a cheap shot on you? Otherwise, I have to sit here for like an hour. It's awful.
I had pet owners write me with such angst. I wrote back and said, obviously I'm stepping on your toes. That's not my problem, it's yours. When we put pets above other people, when they're destroying property, when they're keeping people awake, and you're making other people take care of those pets' needs, there's something wrong with you.
When you're so obsessed with how other people live their lives that you're willing to attack them for being deaf, something's wrong with you.
When your cigarette smoking and your TV viewing and your gardening pleasure becomes everybody else's drama, burden, and stress, you're a selfish nitwit.
When you attack the elderly for being elderly, you're being a selfish nitwit.
I don't care if it's a guy that plays a guitar or plays drums. In an apartment complex, probably not a good idea to do that, homie. I don't want to hear you practice drums at 2 o'clock in the morning.
You know, that's the risk of being born. That's the risk of living among other human beings. That's the risk you take. You don't like it? Fucking suicide, bro. I grew up next to a drummer. What the fuck's your point?
Go knock on the door. I'm in a band, man. I gotta do this, man. Not here, you don't. If you're in a band, go rent a garage somewhere and make all the noise you want. This is an apartment building. I gotta go to work.
Well, it is all about you, and I noticed that you rented this nice studio for you to do your recordings in because everyone's financially able to do that, right?
You're such a DICK neighbor, man. You know, we all gotta give a little. Everybody around here is giving while you're taking my sleep, taking my peace of mind.
Why do you give him that kind of power?
America, on that note, how about bikers that live next door to you? come in late at night, you know, and do that.
I have a funny feeling you've never confronted one of them.
They don't give a damn that they're disturbing you.
What, you didn't go knock on his door?
Or the guys that have flashbacks on their trucks. My trucks are a little noisy. I don't romp on it. I start it up, keep the idle low, I get out of the driveway. And when I'm far enough down the street, you know, get up to speed, I'm not going to disturb my neighbors. It is wrong.
I love how judgmental you are, Pacific. It's kind of cute. You do realize that your machine is one of the most atrocious things in the entire world and should probably be junked, right? Like a 66 pickup truck is one of the most gas-inefficient, loud pieces of shit that it exists on Earth. This from the man that disparages SUV drivers.
I told a relative of mine, your wife behaves this way and I have a house, I'll never let her come into my house and do that.
Well, luckily, from what I can assume about you, you'll never have a house. You film in closets and shit, because I assume you live with relatives, so I'm just making a leap here.
His response? Well, I'd never stay at your house. I said, why do you accommodate her? Because it's not worth it for the rage that will come out of her. And I said, so you're basically admitting to me that you're letting a woman dominate you with her immature, insensitive habits?
I'm sure you have no immature or insensitive habits, Pacific.
I'm going to tell American women something they're not going to like to hear this, because this applies more to women than it does men.
Why is it always American women with you? I mean, you got rejected, burned, and actually robbed by several other nationalities of women, but for some reason I'm guessing because of your mother, you really aren't big on white American women.
Regarding pets, when you cannot have enough couth to realize that what is precious and dear to you may not be precious and dear to somebody else, and you're not being respectful of their property and their rights, it's time for you to get rid of the things. It's time for you to take an honest assessment of yourself. But I know what drives this.
Of course you do, because you're fucking omniscient. I mean, you honestly seem to believe that you actually have the ability to understand everybody's point of view and to correct their behavior as though you were a god. I think you are a living god.
We're all selfish to a degree.
You're selfish to several degrees.
We want when we want it. To hell with everybody else.
Uh-huh, I've noted that in several of your videos. Are you having a moment of self-reflection?
I've lived in apartments. There's days I wanted to turn my music up. I didn't. And you know why?
Because you're a coward, mate.
Because it'll disturb my neighbor.
And he might come knock on your door and punch you in the fucking mouth.
I'm not gonna do that.
I know you're not, because you don't fight, mate. What happened? Did I scare him off?
Come in.
Oh, there he is.
Doesn't know what it wants to do.
That's right. Get it down, reset. Go ahead. You're fine. Just get it together, man.
It's like my video channel. If I lived in a small, confining place, then
He says from in a closet.
my talking at early crack of dawn is going to disturb people, I'm not going to do it.
Then why is it you do these in closets instead of in living rooms or somewhere normal? I'm pretty sure it's because you disturb someone you live with.
I'm going to find an opportune time when it is better to make my videos.
Then why do you eat so many meals in the pantry?
It is okay for you to like what you like, but when it becomes other people's burden, other people's responsibility, when your habit is causing somebody else property damage, loss of sleep, damage to their belongings, how can you sit there and justify and excuse, manipulate, and make them feel bad?
You realize you've just gone circular for like a full 5 minutes now. You actually haven't made a new point. Do you have something else to establish, or?
How can you do that?
Well, because they don't see it that way, and because it's not actually occurring that way. The other person is actually accepting that individual and that individual's choices, and some people are actually capable of love, Pacific. Some people can make those kind of decisions and go, you know, it does frustrate me and it's not my preference, but because I care about that person and their needs, I'm going to deal with it. But you've never been in a functioning long-term relationship, so you have no idea what that's like.
That's the American way, that's why. I want what I want. I have the freedom to do what I want. If you don't like it, deal with it.
Works so well. I don't understand the problem.
Had a guy years ago down here.
Well, that was specific. Down on here on this arm ringing over here.
This push-up bra. 18-year-old daughter buy a deal on a house right next door to what I was renting.
Boy, oh, you notice teenage girls way too much, lad.
First night, she's there. Whoa, 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 whoa. Right up against my fence. I went over and said, "Hi, neighbor, welcome, but I live here. That's not going to fly." No, I didn't say it like that. "Oh, I'm sorry. She's just dog sitting."
I'm sure you didn't say it like that. Even to an 18-year-old girl, you wouldn't say it like that.
Within a week, she had 3 dogs.
Keck, I'm glad she drove you nuts.
She wasn't dog sitting. They were hers. Dad gave me the name of his business. Said, "Call me." One day I called him. I said, "This is ridiculous. I cannot sleep. I can't even think in my own house." "Dogs bark," was his response. "Sir, I lived there before you bought the property."
Well, unfortunately for you, the other issue you have with dogs is dogs sense evil.
When I hear it in my house, that's where your freedom ends.
Actually, it's not. I hate to tell you that, but it's really not.
Is it just me, or do my viewers notice that American people think it's okay, in the name of freedom, to do something that infringes upon your right to peace and quiet, your right to a good night's sleep? I know people that...
Okay, well, he's dipping down to suck God's dick or whatever he's doing over there. I just want to say that it's very interesting that he notes this, because it's clear to me that he's never lived in a major city in his entire life. Not even a remotely major city. He's lived in small towns in Colorado and Southeast Asia and various places like that. If he'd lived in even a remotely urban area in maybe an apartment or something, he'd know. You have no right to silence, fool. You have no right to any of that. That's not how this works. That's just not how any of this works, Pacific. Yeah, swallow God's cum and come back to the camera, fuckwit.
Move into other people's homes, bring all their habits with them, and hold the homeowners and the people kind enough to extend them kindness, hold them hostage with their habits.
Again, that's not how that works. If they buy the home, that's their home, and they can pretty much do what they want, whether you like it or not, or unless it's against the law. If neither of these things is so, learn to cope.
Their hobbies, their loves.
Their loves, in quotes. You're such a compassionate man.
I know of a woman personally that's renting a place that I had recommended a friend of mine because she needed financial help. 2 bedrooms.
I'm sure this is going somewhere good.
One of them is filled with shit that is unnecessary.
I love that he won't curse, but he'll spell out curse words like a child. I think your mother beat you too much.
The typical American woman collecting so much creepy crap and junk. I was thinking my friend could rent that bedroom.
Crippy crap. I just had to note that, sorry.
And pay half the her rental, and that'd save her a lot of money. So I brought this friend over, and she offered her a sliding glass door, open room that was connected to the dining room, no privacy, and wanted to charge her $300 a month to have a little day bed, and then we'll just draw a curtain there, and that room was tiny.
Okay, how fucking cheap are you? I mean, I hate to tell you this, but $300 a month is essentially no money. That's not money, Pacific. $300 a month is not rent. You know that, right?
My friend looked at me, rolled her eyes. She said, "You know what? I'll get back to you." The woman who was a closet materialist said, "Oh, you won't find a deal like this in Colorado."
Did he say closet materialist? What does that even mean?
Rent is really high. But meanwhile, her big, huge, horse-sized dog could run into the bedroom there. My friend looked at me. Said, "Is this all I can get?" I said, don't rent. Don't do it." And then she made a comment to other people I know. "Well, I don't know why she didn't want her. I was giving her a deal." Wow, what a sacrifice for you. You can't give her the other bedroom. I swear, I'm 49 years old and I've watched more American women addicted to their silly nonsense.
Oh my god, dude, what are we even doing here? You have just been talking in pronouns for a good 5 minutes and then you just jumped into hating women again. That appears to be the theme of your channel. Pacific hates women, especially white American women. He just hates them. Just fuck them. Just fuck them. They're evil people that are just selfish, self-centered cunts that'll never pay me any attention, ever.
Obsessed with their silly nonsense and put everybody else out for it. She finally determined, well, I don't want a roommate. It's too much stuff. Yeah, it means you have to adjust. It means you have to change.
You were literally just complaining about having to change in your neighborhood. And then you're complaining that someone else was complaining about wanting to change in their home. You see nothing wrong with this. Your brain is broken.
Why do you think so many senior citizens in the U.S. are just a pain in the butt to live with?
Wow, again, just openly hammering senior citizens. I don't think I've ever seen someone willing to do that. You are a special case, sir.
They set like concrete, and anything called change comes into their radar. It's terrible.
Holy shit! Now listen, I'm an asshole. Like, I do that. You've seen my videos, people. You know I'm an asshole. Holy shit! He's just going after old people? Who does that? Who just attacks the elderly for their character? What the fuck? Who does that?
Pacific has had to flex and bend constantly.
I really hope you live to a ripe old age, and I hope to be able to make fun of you for it.
That's why I like living with people.
Well, people don't like you.
It forces us out of our complacency. How about women that like to cook? I hear this complained a lot. Go in, cook, make a huge mess, crash on the bed and go, "I'm too tired to clean it up." Other members of the household come in. They got to shovel everything out of the way just so they can cook their dinner or their breakfast. Phooey on that.
Phooey on the fact that someone already cooked for you.
One of the things I have found in American culture is
Oh, more cultural analysis from you. I'm sure this is going to be fucking deep.
there's always somebody who's going to be dominant. Even if they're in the wrong, they're going to be dominant.
Yeah, you're used to being dominated, aren't you?
Their mind is going to operate like a military campaign. This is mine. I like it. And anybody that criticizes that, I'm going to fire guns in all directions.
He's projecting about attacking. That's new. I've not seen this before. You know this is the exact behavior you display, right? About about what you're doing right now. You know that, right? Like I've seen you do it on several occasions. You actually reattacked Robert. I mean, it was kind of fun. He's one of my followers now. It's kind of funny.
I've heard story after story. Guys that sodomize, rape other children. They use this a lot.
What?
When a person, a child, expresses normal, hey, this isn't right. The manipulation, the lying, the fear. There's something wrong with you.
There's something wrong with you. There really is. Whoever hurt you and told you that wasn't really lying. But you're worse than feminists. You're saying that all relationships, or at least most of the relationships with women you've experienced, are akin to pedophilia. You've beyond. I mean, you've literally infantilized yourself. You've literally said that you, or at least men, or whatever this metaphor is, women are the male perpetrators in this. What's wrong with you?
Is what they do. I call it addictions because they can be hobbies that become your idols. God
Says the guy that makes hours-long videos on the internet.
says in the commandments, thou shalt have no other gods before me, and people will say, well, I don't worship it. No, you just bring everybody to their knees for your silly, out of control interest.
Everyone is to be dismissed, all of their joy is to be dismissed, but what Pacific approves of. What don't you people understand?
That goes for guys that got the fancy cars. Tell their wives, oh, don't pump up against the door. Don't touch this. Don't.
I wonder, after it's fully restored, if you ever actually get it that way, how you treat people about that 66 you own. Just wondering.
Some rules to go by. When your interest is infringing on the rights, peace of mind, and the property of others, you're in the wrong. It's time for you to reassess.
Have you considered reassessing your own priorities? I'm just wondering. I mean, you seem obsessed with correcting other people's behavior while making no improvement upon yourself whatsoever.
People should not have to live and have the kind of stress all because of your interest. You're bullying. It is a form of bullying when you're pushing back somebody else. Causing
I think you got bullied a lot, didn't you?
them to churn, have anxiety, stress, anger, and you don't care.
Oh dear. Oh, he doesn't even care. He just hurt my feelings and he doesn't even care.
This whole dog thing with American women has become clear to me. It's a form of immaturity. I don't like men. I've been crapped on. Whatever.
The projection is strong with this one. I've been crapped on. I don't like women. That's you, Pacific. That's literally your whole channel.
They got all the reasons for why they have their little coochie-coo critters.
You got all the reasons why you haven't had a girlfriend until recently, and I'm not even sure that person's real.
I see it all day long in Denver. Last week, I'm walking around the lake. One woman's dog yaws to the left, right in front of my path. Does the woman make any effort when I'm coming to pull the dog in, rein it in? And I should have said, get your dog out of the way, lady. I'm trying to walk.
For some reason with you, it's always should have said. I think it's because you have no spine. You're afraid of these women, man. Like, people accuse me of that, but I confront women and talk to them all the time. That doesn't bother me in the least. I was just on the stream with a porn star. I'm not afraid of women. You are.
Women don't care. They are by nature, have a proclivity to being very self-centered. We've talked about that. And people will tell me men are too. Granted.
Please, I beg you, I don't care anymore if you eat on your stream, but at least swallow before you talk.
But when it comes to pet etiquette and the rights of others, doggy wins, person loses in the story.
Well, sadly, if I were choosing between a dog and you, I'd choose the dog, Pacific.
I would watch my mother get irritated at us and her own husband when we expressed angst or stressed about the animals tearing stuff up. But boy, if I did something less than what the cat had just done, I was yelled at, spanked, shoved. I grew up in a house learning very quickly. Animals were more important than Pacific.
The fact that you were expecting to be held to the same standard as the animals is kind of frightening. I mean, if a cat tears up a pillow, it's a cat. If you then in turn say, well, the cat did it, so it must be okay, and tear up the pillow, I would institutionalize you. Yeah, just finish your meal, fuckwit.
People get on my channel. People who are what I call pet obsessed get offended at what I say.
I'm offended at what you say because it's stupid. Technically, I don't own a pet.
And they won't bother to take a look at why. It is not right for you to impose your freedom and make somebody else swallow it.
Allahu Akbar.
You're enslaving somebody else to your selfish lusts.
She must cover herself, otherwise I am being tempted and it is her fault.
That is what it is. And God will hold you accountable for it. God will hold all of us accountable for it.
Again, Allahu Akbar.
I know
There was a nice reset there.
a story of a man that was married. Grandpa and grandma raised the grandkid. While I was running a troubled youth home in Ohio, the grandkid stayed with me. The grandkid was talking very seductively to one of the other boys we had in the house for that weekend.
I'm just going to let that sit with my viewers. He's observing children speaking seductively amongst themselves. And this is a good Christian man.
I took him aside and said, "Why are you asking if he masturbates?"
Well, that's not seductive. That's childhood curiosity. You're a repressed fuck.
We had a chat, and by the end of the evening, this kid finally confessed that because his mother, grandma, had told us we don't want him watching Beavis and Butthead and Baywatch or any of that. But he said grandpa was taking him into the room and watching these shows. I said, "Why is your grandpa watching this?" I said, "How does your grandma not find it?" "Oh, he locks the door." I said, "He locks the door?" I said, "What else does he do in there?"
I don't want to watch this anymore, viewers. I want to go to bed. I want to see what's going to happen. Nothing good could come of this story, viewers. Viewers, if you would like, you feel free to just go. Just go. I understand, because whatever's going to happen here is going to be bad.
The kid finally confided in me that he had him sit on his lap and was playing with his pee-pee.
And I apologize for everything that just happened.
I called our agency immediately, told him what was going on. I knew when Grandpa brought him by the way he slid his hand down his butt. My then wife didn't see it. I said, "I saw something."
You're related to creeps, bro.
Pacific, how does this equate with what you're talking about?
Well, I'm glad you finally came to the fact that you just went down a pedophilia route for absolutely no reason, but let's see if you can pull it together here at the end.
When people's lusts, interests infringe on the rights of others,
You just went from dogs barking to child rape. Oh my god.
People pay. People suffer. I can tell you stories of children that grew up saying, I know where I was raided in my home. The pets were more important than me.
You just said your mom treated the pets better, which is equal to child rape. Oh my god.
You think that those kids don't internalize that and react negatively?
No, clearly they do, Pacific. Clearly they do.
Of course they do. I think most American women that are in this pet thing are extremely at the height of immaturity.
In all seriousness, if you set up a Patreon page, I would give you money if you promised to use it for psychiatric therapy.
Talking baby talk to the dog, putting the animals above everybody else, manipulating everybody to accept their idolatry, fixation, whatever.
Those damn women, or whatever it is you're ranting about. Is it the Jews? It's really hard to tell with you.
I'm 49 years old. I don't
Yeah, we know. You say it repeatedly.
have to endure that anymore. I can say, you know what? Bull squat. If I own a home and somebody's going to do that to me, say, well, no. You're not imposing that on me.
It's funny that it took you until 49 to start kicking back against your mother. That's very, very interesting.
My house is going to be a house of peace. I'm going to come home free of the dog crap, free of the cat hair, free of the drama that comes with critters that really don't belong in the house.
Seriously, you do know that Muslims literally preach what you're saying, right? You do know that Islam says dogs and cats should not be in a residence. They should be kept only for hunting and guarding the house purposes outside. You're literally a creepy Christian Muslim dude.
If you live in my house and you want to play your TV full blast, I'm going to say, get the headphones or you're out.
Little Hitler.
Because I'm not going to do that to them. A house should be a house of peace.
Islam is the religion of peace.
Pacific has had to see and watch and hear things for years, and it's disturbing what goes on in this country. The torment that others are put through because of your selfish addiction, and I call it an addiction.
Because it's a word you like to use a lot.
Because it moves from a hobby to an addiction when you are manipulating your way to justify, excuse, and make everybody else acquiesce and accommodate.
Does it count as an addiction when you move from making 20 and 30-minute videos to sitting in a closet and ranting about one subject for 3 and 4 hours on a fairly regular basis alone? Another long-term restart from Pacific.
I'm noticing that my videos are getting people very angry because I'm hitting nerves. Good.
I'm not angry, I'm making fun of you, fucker. I love the ape mouth there, that was cute.
Robert House is at it again, aka Frank Horgan. I have filed complaints, and so
AKA banned user. Yeah, motherfucker, I know you're watching this. Welcome to my page. I'm completely happy to have you here. Let's make fun of this idiot.
have others. You want to talk about somebody who's got issues?
He doesn't have issues. He's a joker.
Still stalking, still harassing.
He sent you fucking a page of a Fallout character talking through like a microphone and then pictures of fake gravestones with your family's name on it. It was hilarious. I mean, it was fucked up, but it was hilarious.
Uploading videos I long ago pulled.
Dude, you shouldn't have ever uploaded those videos in the first place. I saw him. He has secondary links to him you don't know about. It's great.
Just garbage. Over and over. Now making threats to other viewers of mine through their inbox.
So scary. You're a big, strong man. Couldn't tell off 18-year-old girl or internet trolls.
I've had people call me names, I've had people put me down. I've had people get angry because I speak the truth, especially with the
No, that's not why anyone gets angry. We get angry because you have followers.
pets. I couldn't believe how many people, when I did the pet obsession video in Hong Kong, were so rude to me. And I know who they are. Those high maintenance women that want everything their freaking way,
White American women, I'm guessing?
that are butthurt. Because I put it in proper perspective. It's a dog, lady. That's all it is. It may be cute to you, but its habits, its antics, its shenanigans are not cute to me. I work hard for my money, and if my property's
As little as it is.
being destroyed and my peace is being compromised, it's like setting mouse traps. I'm going to deal with the problem. Dog is out of my house.
Well, I'm sure you will have many successful and fruitful relationships. Oh, wait.
I can't believe that people can't go to sleep without the TV full blast.
Did we miss an exit? Did we derail? How'd we, where are we?
When your freedom becomes my chains, I'm going to rebel.
Good job. That's a strong man thing to, oh wait, you're in a closet.
And I've heard these same people, my mother, you're so intolerant, you're selfish. You're
Your mother was right.
smoking a cancer-causing, offensive-smelling agent in a closed car for 300 miles. I'm a child. Where's my right to clean air? Mom?
Seriously, I'm not even joking. If you set it up, I will donate to a Patreon to get you therapy, man.
Dad? Mom, you got 4 cats, 3 dogs, 2 goats. How come I have to clean up all the poop and mess associated with that? Well, those are your chores. But was this necessary to add more burden?
You really resented cleaning up poop, didn't you?
Senior citizens that still live with their aging husbands.
Good God, we're back on this, man. This is some of the worst things you've ever done. I really can't handle you hammering senior citizens, man. That's so fucked up.
Buying so many plants, buying so much stuff to maintain, and they cannot do it at all, but they want their husbands and nag at them and badger them and harass them to get it done.
So it's not even senior citizens. You're only mad at older women. Fuck, man. God damn it. What is wrong with you?
I've witnessed this. I've seen it. I hear about it. I've had to come alongside some very heated discussions and say, could it be that maybe you're at an age where you can't do all this, your hobby? It's not a hobby. This is needed. You don't have to have a garden that everybody else maintains. You don't even get out and look at most of the time.
Let me explain something to you, Pacific. These elderly women you're talking about that you're saying that their quote-unquote hobbies are not necessary is why they get up in the morning. It is necessary to them. You selfish fuck.
It's time to start cutting back and do what you can handle. Nope. So others are held hostage because of your selfish ways. Yep.
Listen, one of these times after you drop all the kids off, I hope you hit a pole.
That's the American way.
No, seriously, after you drop the kids off, that bus needs to be empty, but I hope you hit a pole. I wish it wouldn't have to be in the bus, but I really doubt you have a car. So I'm gonna have to assume that you just drive the bus.
And Frank Hooligan's gonna love this. Basically, when Americans are doing that, when your relatives are doing that, they're going like this to you.
No, you're going like this to them, you fucker.
Selfishness, narcissism.
The level of narcissism and selfishness that you display in your videos is disgusting. Your loathing on the elderly, fucking dying people. You selfish fuck.
Nagging, badgering. I've even heard cases where people so unwilling to change will manipulate and guilt trip the other party, like I said about me in the car. Or
You mean you when you were a child with your mother, when the original damage was done?
play victim. And the other person is made to feel like that high because they were offended at the other party's animals, the shenanigans. And I would tell my viewers, this is the stuff I've grown up with all through my American life, and it really frustrates me.
Well, idiots like you really frustrate me. I don't know if that tells in this video. Another long pause from Pacific while his brain reformats.
I had a woman next door to us who would wear her high heels at 2 o'clock in the morning on hardwood floors in her apartment building downtown Denver.
It's always women with you, isn't it? It really is. That's the only thing that even sticks in your brain. Like, you don't seem to understand the concept that you could have confirmation bias, and that when it's women it actually just sticks with you more than when men irritate you, because you actually hate women. Okay, now you're oppressing me and my viewers.
All night long, throwing things in the closet, which was up against our wall. I was polite. Hey, we're trying to sleep. Do you think you could wear your socks? You're not going to tell me what to do.
Listen, I'm just guessing from your socioeconomic background. Have you considered that woman might have been a working girl? I mean, she might not have had a choice. The heels are kind of part of the job.
Yeah. Finally, her boyfriend was there, who was the owner or the leaser.
Yeah, you're kind of leaning on my point.
The apartment had to tell her, I pay the rent here, and you need to back off. His little cocoa-colored girlfriend from Vale or Aspen. What a biatch.
Oh, God. Again, I constantly fight against race baiters, but you're the problem.
She disturbed us a lot. We never did anything to her. That one woman is willing to stand against a husband and his wife that are trying to sleep, that appeal to her nicely, and all she could do is be a self-centered bitch.
Oh, you almost said it. How relatively devious of you.
And then people wonder why Pacific gets tired of. And they say, boy, you're really women-hating. I don't like a woman like that.
No, you don't like women that won't just submit to your will. It's weird. Your mother really fucked you up.
When I find that women are like that, talk to the hand. But I'll be damned if I'm going to allow that crap in my house or my domain if I have control.
Kind of twitchy there, buddy.
It takes a village. If you're all going to live in a village and we're all going to help each other out, there's going to be some rules.
That's not what it takes a village means at all, but go on.
My stuff cannot disturb your sleep. My stuff can't disturb your property, and neither should yours mine. You want your ways? You go live by yourself, and you go get your own little place, and you go do that.
Seriously, you've never lived in a city at all, ever, have you?
For wives that have husbands, quit buying all this gardening crap and all this stuff and making him do it all when it's your interest, not his. I don't see you helping him build the garage or do the remodel in the house at all.
I don't really see a lot of 70 or 80-year-old men doing either of those things.
And that's the other thing I notice. Women don't accommodate their men. They just accommodate themselves. I think I've said enough on this issue, but it's just something I've noticed.
Yeah, I know, you've said enough, but you just can't help just hammering it home.
People that are fixated are dangerous.
I know, you're dangerous. You're fixated on women and hating them.
To my peace of mind, to my rights.
Think hard. What do you want? What are you going to
And
end
a
it
message for Mr. Rodriguez. You keep harassing people. You keep changing IDs. I have let YouTube know that you change IDs. I told them all of your IDs.
What a sleuth you are. I'm sure they couldn't have figured that out.
It's obvious. You're the only one who's doing this.
Uh-huh. No, he's not. I'm right here, motherfucker.
You need psychological help.
Well, that's ironic coming from you.
You truly need help.
Physician, heal thyself.
Your freedom, my chains. No way. This is Pacific signing off. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye indeed. No, we're not going to do that. We're just not. We're simply not. Goodbye. So, that's it, ladies and gents. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the sinking of the Pacific Ocean liner, and I will see you guys on Monday. Again, sorry it was late, but, I made it extra cool for this one.